Bhilai, a town in Chhattisgarh famous across the world for its steel plant which makes most of the rails on which India's trains run. But this town is now in the news for very different reasons. A juice seller and a small-time contractor from here are allegedly perpetrators of one of the most outrageous recent betting scams in India.
250 करोड़ की शादी 5,000 करोड़ का घोटाला 5,000 crores.
The Enforcement Directorate claims that Mahadev online book app is an umbrella syndicate owned and promoted by UAE-based individuals Saurabh Chandrakar and Ravi Uppal. The agency says the app arranges a platform for illegal betting websites to enroll users.
The Enforcement Directorate has summoned टॉप बॉलीवुड एक्टर रणबीर कपूर।
जानकारी यह है कि फिल्म अभिनेत्री श्रद्धा कपूर, हुमा कुरैशी और मशहूर कॉमेडियन कपिल शर्मा को भी नोटिस भेजा गया है, समन किया गया है।
This is a story of two friends bonded in their love for wagers. A betting app whose business spread across India, the Middle East, even Netherlands. A business carried out through perfectly legal UPI transactions and endorsed by Bollywood stars and social media influencers. But then, dubious money trails and fake IDs, FIRs and arrests. A disproportionately lavish wedding and a big crackdown on an alleged 5,000 crore money laundering scam. What is the story of Mahadev book? Who are Saurabh Chandrakar and Ravi Uppal, and why is the Enforcement Directorate after them? How are Bollywood celebrities involved? Also, how did the alleged financial crimes go on for 5 years before the cops finally decided to go after the perpetrators? Are there no lessons learned from IPL, from Nirav Modi, and from Mehul Choksi? All this and more in today's episode. It's the 13th of October. I'm your host Anirban Chaudhary, and this is the Morning Brief. Now, the story pieced by media reports is this. Chandrakar met Uppal in the late 2010s at a pan stall in Bhilai's Akash Ganga market. Chandrakar was then in his late 20s. He had started as a salesman at a garment store, earning 10,000 rupees a month. Later, he set up a juice shop in the town. Uppal, in his late 30s, was a small-time contractor. Chandrakar and Uppal bonded over tea and betting on cricket. Now, Uppal was already into wagers. In fact, he had a team of several punters who were spread across Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. Soon, over conversations, a business plan began to take shape. Together in 2017, Chandrakar, Uppal and two other friends set up Mahadev Book. Now, the company operates a betting app that lets you take small wagers on everything from the weather to election outcomes to, of course, cricket. Chandrakar and Uppal got their punters into the business, but they also got very smart techies to design the app. The transactions were small and hence innocuous, via UPI accounts. They left the customer richer by a few hundred rupees, but made billionaires of Chandrakar and Uppal. They were now the owners of a 5,000 crore rupee business. The app became popular. Actors, stand-up comedians, Punjabi pop singers, everyone seemed to be endorsing it.
मेरे पास आपके लिए एक अमेजिंग आइडिया है।
Bringing to you India's number 1 और सबसे बड़ा बुक महादेव बुक,
जहां आप खेल सकते हैं गेम्स जैसे क्रिकेट, फुटबॉल, टेनिस, कैसीनो 24/7।
इस बुक पे लोगों का इतना ट्रस्ट है कि आजकल बड़े बड़े एक्टर्स, बिजनेसमैन और इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट सभी यही खेलते हैं।
खेलिए, जीतिए और विड्रॉल्स 10 मिनट में आपके अकाउंट में।
Mahadev Book even spread to international shores. Now, the business was always seen as dubious by the authorities. But apart from a few arrests and a lookout notice against the duo which made them move to Dubai, nothing much happened. The investigation actually paced up in February after Chandrakar's wedding. An extravagant event in Ras Al Khaimah, complete with private jets and performances from Bollywood stars. Chandrakar spent a whopping 200 crore rupees on his wedding. That finally, decisively alerted the Enforcement Directorate, India's financial crime police. The ED intensified raids on Mahadev's offices in India, froze their proceeds, and then summoned the business's celebrity endorsers for questioning. Now, there's a bit of a technicality to how the ED functions. It cannot start investigations on its own, meaning it needs to build a case and probe on something called a predicate offense. Think of predicate offense as a smaller component of the larger crime. That is the ED starting point. In this case, the starting point was old FIRs lodged by the Hyderabad and Chhattisgarh police on alleged dubious transactions and suspicious UPI IDs around the app. Here's my colleague and ET's in-house financial crime sleuth, Rashmi Rajput.
The Hyderabad police had a more concrete case where they had registered a case of illegal betting, and their interrogation led to this particular that they were reporting to this person called Saurav Chandrakar. Then the ED started investigating because nobody knew who Saurav Chandrakar was. Then they started investigating about who these two characters are. Then they figured out that there is an FIR in Chhattisgarh. And, till that time, these people have already fled. Till the time ED stepped in, these two people had already left the country. Now, other than Mahadev book, there are other companies which were floated by the masterminds. Now, the ED in its various court filings, they have mentioned these companies. These are also into illegal betting, gambling activities, and they are also under investigation. So when we talk about Mahadev book, it is not just restricted to Mahadev book, but also its affiliates. There are apps like Lotus 365, Fair Play, Reddy Anna, Laser Book, Tiger Exchange, Bet Book 24/7. So these are these various apps which are basically the affiliates of Mahadev book. So they are also under investigation. And since ED probes into the money laundering aspect, the focus of the probe would be the proceeds of crime which has been generated through this illegal betting and who are the ultimate beneficiaries in this particular case.
Okay, so Mahadev app is actually an umbrella company with several affiliates, with its two key men operating out of Dubai for the last several years. This is really complex. Rashmi, how exactly do the transactions happen?
It's a proper syndicate that works with, clockwork precision. So what happens is, for example, if I'm a person and I'm interested in betting, there is a WhatsApp number which has an Indian origin. It's an Indian WhatsApp number. So I have to reach out on that WhatsApp number, say a hi or a hello, and that WhatsApp number will connect me to a call center. Now, these call centers are based out of Sri Lanka, Dubai, and Nepal. So none of them are in India. Now, these call centers, they will then connect me to a panel operator. Now, these panel operators are based in India. And according to the ED's estimates, there are around 5,000 such panel operators working across the country for Mahadev book and its associates. Now, each panel operator has been given the task of ensuring it helps the client in getting an ID registered, also creating his UPI account, and also in the event where he gets any money, that money is being sent back to his UPI account. So as a panel operator, his job would be basically client servicing. So what is the catch here is that the amount that we're talking is not running into lakhs. So therefore, they're not coming under the scanner of the regulatory agencies or the banks. They're small amounts. People who are betting for 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, and that payment made through UPI might not come under the scanner. And that is what they're using, this kind of loophole in the system, which is there where small amounts don't get, come under the scanner. All the payment made and received are done only through UPI. But, the volumes that they're betting at is something that is making this case so big.
So how do they make money?
For example, if I'm placing a bet of 100 rupees, okay, so in that, the basic funda that they follow is a 40-60 ratio, where 40% will go back to Mahadev book and 60% would be retained by the customer. In the sense that, I will keep on giving some money to the customer so that I make him addictive to this game. So not every time that I place a 100 rupees bet, I'm getting 60 rupees back. It's just that I'll keep you engaged. I'll give you like a 10 rupees or a 20 rupees. So you'll come back to this app and you'll think, there is profit in it. So let me do this once more. So that's the reason why they have this very interesting kind of an arrangement where they keep 60% for the customer and 40% to themselves. Now, of this 40% also, Anirban, what happens is 30% has been kept as a commission by the panel operator, and 70% goes back to the Mahadev book guys. It goes to them, and this last chain of money, that the main profit, that is sent through Hawala. So that's where the Hawala dealing kicks in, and that entire money, the 70% of profit, is sent through Hawala dealers who operate from between India and Dubai or wherever they are currently. And that's how this entire well-organized so-called ecosystem works, where everything is planned to the T and it works with clockwork precision. And also, they audit their books every Monday. So there is a proper audit that is done. So this works like a company. And this is happening from some remote place in Chhattisgarh. Like most of these UPI IDs apparently have been created in places like Chhattisgarh, also in Maharashtra, Hyderabad. So, people where it might not create any kind of a suspicion, or there might not be any red flag. And that's the reason why this has been working so seamlessly for the last couple of years.
And how much money is the ED talking about?
They are talking about 200 crore rupees transaction or 200 crore rupees revenue being earned every day. So that's like massive money. So at this point in time, while they have pegged the entire so-called scam at 5,000 crores, but what we understand from our sources that this might just snowball into a bigger amount, maybe like say 10,000 or even 20,000 crores as we continue the investigation and as they get more leads into how this works.
And most of these transactions are happening through the Hawala route.
So there is a huge imprint of Hawala operation here. So what is a Hawala operation? If I have to explain you, for example, you are in Dubai and I'm in India and I need to pay you say 100 rupees, right? But I cannot send you across through money transfer, through legitimate means. So what will happen is I will ask somebody who is a Hawala operator, I'll give him 110 rupees. And I'll tell him that you transfer this 100 rupees to Anirban in Dubai. Now, what that person does is, instead of transferring Anirban, he will coordinate with his associate, that is a person B, and he will transfer him 100 rupees. And that 10 rupees that we have given, that is their commission. So the B, the person who is in Dubai, that person B would give you the money. So that's how Hawala operates generally.
And Hawala transactions have traditionally been linked to Dawood Ibrahim and D Company. So the plot thickens. Rashmi, tell me, is this also why it's so difficult to go after Mahadev book? Because almost no part of the business can be traced back to India anymore.
Yeah, there is nothing that is the Indian imprint other than the WhatsApp number. Everything is rooted out abroad. Like the website apparently has its origins in Netherlands, or it is run through a proxy server. So tomorrow when you do investigation, whom are you going to trail back to? So the functioning or these operations are managed through UAE. Everything is managed through Dubai, where they are apparently supposed to be based out of. So the call centers report back to Dubai, the panel operators report back to Dubai, the Hawala operators report back to Dubai. So they are the one who are managing the entire show from Dubai. These call centers are like this unorganized call centers which operate out of places like Nepal and Sri Lanka and Dubai. So none of the call centers are based in India. I remember there was also this loan app scam which took place a couple of years ago, which were these Chinese loan app scam, which the ED was only investigating. In that also you had a proper well-networked call centers. And these call centers were working out of India, like in Pune and in Hyderabad and all that. But in this case, what they have done is they have ensured that the main operations are not in India. So tomorrow, whatever happens, they are not trailed back. So the main operations are in countries where it is very difficult for them to track.
Well, the people the ED has gone after are celebrities who attended Chandrakar's wedding. Last week, according to reports, the agency's officials summoned actors Ranbir Kapoor, Shraddha Kapoor, Sonakshi Sinha, and stand-up comedian Kapil Sharma, among others, for questioning. In all, more than 12 celebrities and 100 influencers seem to be under the ED's scanner. I spoke to Zulfikar Memon, a legal eagle who specializes in cases involving financial crime. He's the founder and managing partner of MZM Legal. I asked Memon what makes these celebrities culpable.
These celebrities apparently visited and attended these weddings, and it's very difficult at this point of time for them to demonstrate what was the reason for it. Was it natural love and affection for this person? Was there a business association? Are they related to him? Or it's a pure contract where they were paid to do it and then they visited, like they do most of the time, which is fine, which is okay. But I think the bigger problem here is that the accusation that comes up and which is surfacing right now is that most of this payment was done in cash. So if that's the case, these celebrities would have a difficult time to explain what was the reason for attending the wedding and what prompted them and what was the contract, because where is the source of funding and how did they receive the money.
And Mr. Memon, how much of a case does the ED have against Mahadev Book? Are the founders safe because they run betting operations from Dubai?
I don't think that even Dubai has legalized betting. So that's not the case. It's just that Dubai gives them a platform to operate a very kosher front business through multiplicity of these offshore free zone transactions, which are the beneficiary of the proceeds. But these, if you go into finer details, which we've done for a company in the past, I don't know about Mahadev, but if you go into the details, eventually these original companies are registered in Europe or in BVI or in Cayman Islands, where probably they get these benefits of having these licenses and trade license to do online betting. So clearly, I think the promoters of Mahadev app have a uphill challenge ahead of them because of various factors. I think everything is out in the open in relation to how payments were made to these celebrities. That's going to be a very big red flag in front of everyone. B, not only that, but also the way they have been spending money to just generally answer the questions in relation to where the source of the fund is and how did they spend that kind of money. And C is about the business activity, because even if it's betting, there are cases which are registered in relation to their illegal operations, if there is any, directly or indirectly, through various subsidiaries and intermediaries operating in India, which is clearly illegal.
Can you cite other cases similar to this that you've sort of come across in the recent past?
Well, Anirban, as a firm specializing in white collar crime, I think this is something that we're dealing with on a daily basis. I mean, we've been seeing a meteoric rise in the last about 5 or 7 years, wherein tech-related fraud is on the rise. From a small, medium enterprise to a large-scale listed company, I think all of them have fallen prey to some or the other way of digital or tech-related fraud. We even, representing a large European listed manufacturing company who received an email from their chairman. The Indian subsidiary received an email from the chairman saying that please wire $10 million to Swiss account. And the accountant did that. And then they realized that that email never came from the chairman. So you see, this is on the rise. But I think the major, differentiation is between general people who are naive, who are innocent, and the other side where there are these extremely sharp, intelligent, talented, tech-driven sharks who are sitting there and who are developing and manipulating technology to their advantage on a daily basis.
Meanwhile, in a public statement through their lawyer, Uppal and Chandrakar denied any association with the betting racket. Rashmi told me that they were cited in Sydney, deported back to the UAE, and then fled to the Caribbean islands. I asked her whether there have been significant lapses in this case from the investigative agencies.
The ED stepped in only last year, but before that there was a Chhattisgarh police. And if you go by the ED's court documents, it mentions that the Chhattisgarh police was involved in it, that it was taking bribes from them. So they allowed this thing to happen. The ED court documents also talks about political beneficiary of this case. So far, the ED's investigation is underway about who are these political beneficiaries. But the police, it failed miserably, so to say, in ensuring that, when they knew that there is a scam like this, the least they could do, they could have ensured that, there is an LOC against them.
Sorry, what's an LOC?
So LOC is called as a lookout circular. And a lookout circular, basically, it's a circular, it's a notice which is issued to the port authorities, the seaports and the airports. And if anybody tries to exit out of the country, out of those ports, they stop them. You remember the Nirav Modi case and how that entire case kind of brought to the forefront about how these accused just fled before the CBI could even act upon it. So that after that, post that, there has been a lot of coordination amongst the agencies. And the first thing that any police agency does whenever there is a big ticket case, what the first thing the police agency does is issuing an LOC or a lookout circular. In case of economic offences, the government has even empowered the banks to do so. When you had the power of LOC, issuing an LOC against them, and you did not use that, that kind of shows that, the loopholes that still exist in the system, these people benefited out of it and they managed to flee.
Memon told me that, to be honest, the investigative agencies are still playing catch-up with smart, nimble-footed, tech-savvy perpetrators of financial crimes. And there's a lot of ground to cover.
We all need to up our game. Even the investigating agencies, regulators, all of them. I think we don't even know. I mean, if you see, just this one dark hole is the blockchain technology, which we all are talking about. And there's so much happening in that one technology. And the pace at what that technology is developing is humongous. And the volume of transactions and the volume of development that's happening there is just so fast-paced that I think the investigating agencies or the regulatory agencies, all of them have to just speed up in understanding the widespread damage that it can cause and prepare themselves and build stronger associations, global associations and tie-ups, and just be vigilant. Also, I think for us as general public, there has to be more and more awareness programs that needs to be created, which I think the government is doing. I mean, there are many ads and many promotion activities that you see online about customers being aware and making them aware about fraudulent transactions and all of that, not to share OTP, all of that. But I think still it needs to be more aggressive. The push needs to be much more aggressive in relation to creating more awareness of tech-related fraud from various different channels. I mean, the more the technology develops, the more likely that it is going to be misused. The aggression with which the Indian government is pushing technology and 5G to remote villages, I think the same aggression should be used to ensure and promote educating programs and awareness programs in relation to the fraud that they are likely to face.
Mr. Memon, Rashmi, thank you very much.
Anirban, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Anirban. Thanks for your time.
That's all for today. You were listening to this episode on The Morning Brief. It was produced by Sumit Pandey and sound designed by Amrit Reggie. Executive producers, Arijit Barman, Anupriya Nair, and myself. We hope you liked the episode. Please share and subscribe if you did. A new episode of The Morning Brief drops every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on a listening platform of your choice. This is your host Anirban Chaudhary wishing you a very good day and weekend. Thank you. All external clips used in this episode belong to their respective owners. Credits are mentioned in the description.